amazing arena which has 50 of the most incredible tastes of Brooklyn in the building. We have Disney-trained employees. We have award-winning architecture. And I think just from a design point of view, when you pop out of our $75 million subway entrance that we built as part of the project, you can see the scoreboard. And so for those of us that are familiar with this type of venue, it's very rare in the United States to go into a building and have that type of experience. So that's just an amazing way to kick off a project like Atlantic Yards. But we also have a high level of affordability. So our first building has 50% market and 50% affordable housing, and we're building it with the same fit and finish throughout. And it's kind of what led us to the modular quest. So imagine that the units that will make up this building, all 935 modules, will be built in a factory, almost shrink wrapped. So everything but the toilet paper is part of the unit, and it's brought to the site and it's assembled on site. And there's really mainline work, which is just the connection of the various pipes and curtain wall components to stack it on site. And so it's fairly revolutionary in the sense that it's a steel residential building, which is atypical for our product type. Normally residential is built in concrete, so it's a steel building that the structural components are part of the Legos, if you will, of each of the steel chassis. And so the fact that we're putting a steel residential building together for which the consumer or the resident in the building should never know how it was put together. It should be invisible to the eye, and it should perform like our very beautiful 365-unit luxury rental building a stone's throw away from the site. And so we believe that we could be redefining the way that housing is built in this city, and we're building it all with union labor. And so the workers inside that factory are being paid only a portion of what an on-site union labor worker would get. And so that has the potential to really change the cost model. And the final point I'll make is that when we build, as developers, I think one of the biggest risks that we face is what you put in your pro forma for construction costs, you frankly don't know what it's going to cost until you're getting down to doing it. And so that inability to predict costs, it's a big problem and a big issue for those of us that are into the long, complicated, ground-up world of development. And so what modular does is it allows you to control costs because there really is no middleman. You're buying the widget and you're controlling the labor in the factory with a contract. And so when the world comes roaring back and everybody wants concrete, and the concrete contractor can name his price, it's probably not in the equation for 60% of our building. And that has pretty dramatic implications when you're building 15 buildings, 6,000 plus units. And it's one of the things we're most focused on, because if you can control costs like that and scale it over a large project like Atlantic Yards, you do begin to redefine the way the built environment gets executed in a city like New York.
How about time to completion?
So again, we are being very conservative. It's a tough town.
I'm talking about each project.
Oh.
In terms of
each building, yeah. So speed to market's a big benefit because you're doing the on-site work simultaneously with the mods being produced in the factory. So an 18-month building could be built somewhere between 9 and 12 months. Having said, because you have simultaneous activities and a high level of efficiency. But having said that, we would prefer at this point to say 18 months for this first building because we are innovating. But the point is a very good point, which is that for the second, the third, and beyond, we see the time period to construction being cut back dramatically. The last point I'll make is that the exit stairs are actually put into the mods in the factory, so you're putting this building together in a way, when it's done, all of your elevators are done. You have sort of insta building. So unlike multi-level TCO buildings, like Spruce Street had 6 temporary certificates of occupancy, you really do have to open the building in stages from the bottom up. These buildings will be finished and available to the market at one point in time, which has, of course, both positive and interesting implications for financing and the crossover from a development product to a operational building.
So you're eventually going to